Good.
Leslie, Jim's in the hallway. The outside. Jim.
Welcome to councillors and staff and those joining us online and in the public gallery today. Please note that today's meeting is being live streamed and can be viewed by the general public via Council's Facebook page and later uploaded to Council's website. By participating in and addressing those present at the meeting, you consent to any information you disclose, including any personal information or sensitive information being recorded and uploaded to the website. I'll ask Councillor Lockett to please read our acknowledgement of country.
Mayor, we acknowledge the Eastern Maar people as the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today. Pay our respects to their elders past and present. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today.
Thank you. And Councillor Taylor, unfortunately, please to read the prayer.
Almighty God, we humbly beseech you, your blessing on the council, direct and prosperous deliberations for the welfare of the people of the Moyne Shire. Amen.
Thank you. We do have apologies today from Councillor Lisa Ryan. Also apologies today from our Director of Assets and Community, Edith Farrell, and we're welcoming Jackie Anderton in her stead today for today's meeting. Well, we look for a motion to accept the apologies that we have today, particularly from Councillor Lisa Ryan. Thank you, Councillor Murray. Seconded. Councillor Lockett. All those in favour, please. That is carried. Do any councillors wish to declare any conflicts of interest for today's agenda, please? None. I'll move to the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 25th of March 2020. Is there any discussion or are there any issues with those minutes? If not, I'm calling for a mover to confirm that they are a true and accurate record. Thank you, Councillor Taylor. And seconded, please. Thank you, Councillor Ross. Is there any dissent? If not, we'll put that to the vote. All those in favour, please. Carried. 6-0. We don't have any public participants today, but I do acknowledge that we have a member of the Leadership Great South Coast program here with us. You're very welcome. So we move to the officer reports, beginning with item 2.1, the Community Assistance Fund Round 2. And I'll ask our Acting Director of Assets and Community, Ms. Jackie Anderton, to please introduce this to us.
The Community Assistance Fund, this report is presenting the community applications for the round, which is round 2 of the 24-25 Community Assistance Fund, for council's endorsement for the projects that are over $3,001 within the funding categories. The current guidelines are annually reviewed and consider criteria for funding and the applicants who apply.
Thank you very much, Ms. Anderton. Do we have questions in relation to the site, please? Yes,
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I saw in here where one applicant was refused funding because they were looking for CCTV funding. I shouldn't say refused. They were told that to hold off till we do that study or an investigation of some sort into our CCTV policy, which I don't think we have one at the moment. So could someone tell me, one of the officers, please, when are we going to undertake this?
Can I interrupt? I think I may have to declare a conflict with this one, so I'm just going to step out.
Thank you, Councillor Murray. Thank you. We note that you're leaving the chamber. So your question, Councillor Judges, is...
Yeah, what are we doing with these? We're going to investigate CCTV. Formulate a policy, I believe.
Is that something you can answer, Ms. Anderton?
Yeah. So through there, firstly, the group, you're quite correct, they have been spoken to with officers to look at the next review, the next year's funding. Also, mainly because they also received funding in the first program as well. But with regards to the CCTV policy, that is currently being developed as
It's on the way.
it's on the way.
Beautiful. Okay, no, that's, I'm sure they'll be happy with that.
Thank you, Councillor Dukas. Any other questions? No, if not, I'm seeking a mover for the recommended or a mover for what's before us here today, please. Councillor Dukas. And seconded, please, by Councillor Lockett. Councillor Dukas as the mover.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Look, it's a long time, I shouldn't say a long time, but it's a fund that we've had for a long time. It does a lot of good, and also with the communities that get it, they also contribute. I know that part of the fund is no contribution required, or I think it's under $3,000. But that being said, it helps all our communities kick along slowly, year in, year out, and helps them develop further if they do decide to go for a big project, that they can get all the little things done first.
Thank you, Councillor Dukas. Councillor Lockett.
Thank you, Mayor. I agree with Councillor Dukas's comments, and great to see we've got a wonderful spread across the Shire of locations and also different clubs. It's, you know, there's a great amount of diversity across the Shire.
Thanks, Councillor Lockett. Would any other councillors like to speak for or against this motion? If not, I'll return to you as the mover, Councillor.
Only Madam Mayor.
That vote. All those in favour? All those against? That is carried 5-0. And we might ask Councillor Murray to return to the chamber. Item 2.2 is the review of the Register of Public Roads. And I'll get Anderton to introduce this to us, please.
So this report presents a proposal to nominate both Casino and King Street in Peterborough for declaration as a public highway and consider elevating them to the Register of Public Roads. In Council's capacity as a road authority, it's proposed this be undertaken as part of the required review of the Road Management Plan and Register of Public Roads. And it's important to note too that the owner of the land has given their consent for this to proceed.
Thank you very much, Ms Anderton. Do councillors have questions in relation to this item? If not, we have a recommendation before us, and I'm seeking a mover, please. Thank you, Councillor Dukas.
I have to get the product out, I think.
Thank you, Councillor Lockett. Councillor Dukas, as the mover of this motion, would you like to speak to it?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Although it's a procedural motion, I believe that it's been in private ownership from the beginning. But back in those days, there was really no requirement, or the council didn't ask a requirement for this road once it was formed to be sealed. I believe our policies have changed since then. When subdivisions are made, roads now have to be sealed. So it's something that was overlooked in early days. So I won't apportion blame to anybody. But let's hope that going forward, they don't expect the people who live there don't expect it to be sealed in the in the close foreseeable future. Put it that way.
Councillor Dukas. Excuse me, Councillor Lockett was the seconder.
No further need, as Councillor Dukas to its procedure.
Any other councillors? Your chance here to speak for or against the motion? No. Return
No
to
need,
you.
Madam Mayor.
Well, let's put this one to the vote also. All those in favour, please. That is carried 6-0. Item 2.3 is the Stock Underpass Fund application for Swans Lane, Elmsford. Ms Anderton, could you please step us through this one?
Yep, so again, the report outlines an application to Council's Stock Underpass Fund program, and it's seeking support for the application. It's probably good to note that the project and the funding is really considerate of creating a convenience for the community. So, yeah, it's the report's being presented for endorsement.
Thank you. Any queries in relation to this? Questions? If not, we have an officer recommendation here that we endorse the allocation of $10,000.
One of the farmers might endorse this one.
Not limited to farmers. Thank you, Councillor Ross. Seconded, please, by
Sure.
councillor Taylor. Councillor Ross.
I've got nothing to say. It's a good little program, I think.
Thank you. Councillor Taylor.
Yes, likewise, happy to support it because I think it's good to support farmers to be able to implement these assets on their properties.
Thank you. Would any other councillor like to speak for or against the motion? If not, councillor Ross, to sum up, no, let's put that to the vote. All those in favour? That is carried 6-0. Item 2.4 is our draft council plan, 25 to 29. And I'll ask our Director of Corporate and Governance, Mr. Ed Small, please to step us through this one.
Thank you, Mayor. Councillors, this is the culmination of a lot of work the council has been doing over the last 6 months to try and prepare a draft council plan, which includes the community vision and also the wellbeing plan. And we are hoping to put this through to the meeting today for the council to put it on public notice to receive feedback from the community by Sunday, the 11th of May, and with the overall goal to try and get this passed by the end of June through the June OCM. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Small. Okay, it's a really important document for us, this one. So are there any questions from councillors? Be intimately familiar for all of us. We've been workshopping this for the last few months. Questions? Yeah, Councillor Lockett.
Thank you, Mayor. I think it'd be important for the community, the discussion we had earlier about the incorporation of the mental health wellbeing plan with council plan.
The municipal health and wellbeing plans.
Thank you. That
Mr.
one?
Yeah, Mr. Small, are you able to explain the how the two documents sit together?
Thank you very much. There is a capacity for the council to have the two documents, being the council plan and the municipal public health and wellbeing plan, put together in one document. And what the council did the last time I did a council plan, it did that, but it actually had two distinct parts to the document. And when the council decided to approach the preparation of this plan, they wanted to weave the public health and wellbeing plans through the council plan. So the public health and wellbeing plan has to refer back to the Victorian government public health and wellbeing plan and pick up sort of priority areas. So what we've done in this document, we've referenced those priorities that the government has requested that we look to and demonstrate how we can meet those priorities. And of course, at the end of this plan, once this plan is adopted, then we'll have an action plan being developed to show what we're going to be doing over the next 12 months. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Small. Other questions? If not, we do have an officer recommendation that we endorse the draft council plan for public exhibition and feedback. Moved by Councillor Murray. Seconded, please, Councillor Lockett. Councillor Murray.
Thank you. This is really important for our community, so I did jot some note points down. This document represents months of hard work by councillors and council staff and reflects extensive engagement with our community through listening posts, conversations and careful consideration of local data, challenges and opportunities. I just want to highlight a couple of things that make this council plan slightly different to the previous one. Firstly, being that we've managed to reduce the length of the council plan from 44 pages down to 8 concise pages. This was a deliberate effort to make sure that this document was more accessible, more readable, and ultimately for members of our community. We want our community to actually read this. We want you to see yourselves in it and to understand the direction that this council is heading. So it's important that you do read it. It's only 8 pages. Give your feedback. Let us know if we've got it right. And another deliberate choice that we made in developing this plan was to use really clear and simple language. We wanted this document to be one that anyone in our community can pick up and understand without the need to have a background in local government policy. So it is a document for our community, and it's really important that we get your feedback. So you've got until 11th of May.
Thank you very much, Councillor Murray. Councillor Lockett as the seconder. You're right. Councillors, this is your chance to speak for or against this motion.
Yeah, I speak, it's important for the community to produce some feedback.
Thank you, councillor.
Appreciate it.
I would also just like to acknowledge the very many people who've had input into this, not only our staff, but the many people who attended listening posts that our councillors also attended, and the workshops, the stakeholder workshops, people who filled in forms online and surveys. I hope you can see yourselves in here, because I think it's brought, we've been able to condense pardon me, a lot of feedback into one very concise document. So I'd just like to acknowledge that input. Thank you. Councillor Murray, I'll return to you as the mover.
Nothing further, thank you, Mayor.
Sure, then let's, you've reserved your right. I beg your pardon.
It's okay.
I will come back to you. Councillor Lockett.
Thank you. It was a bit clear. Thank you, Mayor. To agree with those apart from it. Councillor Murray, Councillor Ross, and yourself, Mayor Foster. What a process. It's our 8th draft, but now we really want the community's feedback because it's ours, yours. It's the community's council plan and giving us, really important strategic direction for the next, say, 3 and 3/4 years. So we really, really want that feedback. Massive shout out to the staff and the officers. They've done a phenomenal amount of work, but I think us as councillors as well, it's been a really good bonding exercise, there's things we don't agree on, there's a lot of things we do agree on. So I think it's really important in terms of our advocacy to federal and state governments as well, and that's really shone through. Also, Councillor Murray pointed out 44 pages to 8, I think it's a much better document. So, excuse me. It's our 8th draft, but it's your first. So we really want the community's feedback so we can turn it into a beautiful final document. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Councillor. I love it. I will give you another opportunity. My apologies, Councillor Murray. Would you like to
further,
sum up?
thank you.
If that being the case, let's put that to the vote. All those in favour, please. That is carried 6-0. We move to item 2.5, council delegations to members of council staff. Mr. Small, could you please introduce this matter to us?
Thank you, Mayor. Councillors, this is a procedure report which we present to councils periodically, usually between every 3 to 6 months, on whenever there's updates to legislation. The legal advice is to refresh the officer's delegation. So in case there's some fine print there that might actually trip up the delegation in place. So we are tabling this document, which our officers are prepared very much in conjunction with the legal advisors we have to work on this topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Small. Fairly procedural, but we may have questions. If there are no questions, I'm seeking a mover, please, for the recommendation before us. Councillor Murray, seconded. Councillor Ross, thank you very much. Councillor Murray.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. As you mentioned, it's a very procedural document. It's needed, so I'm happy to move this one.
Councillor Ross.
No, it's a technical one, so.
Sure. Any other councillors wanting to speak for or against the motion? None, I'll return to you, Councillor Murray.
No.
To sum up, let's put that one to the vote. All those in favour, thank you. It's carried 6-0. Item 2.6, another fairly procedural one, Instrument of Appointment and Authorisation, Planning and Environment Act 1987. Mr. Small, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Councillors, this differs slightly from the other one we just passed, the other motion just passed, because this is to do with direct authorisation of specifically named officers. So we need to make sure that as the officer complement changes over time, we need to make sure this delegation is kept up to date. So this is just again, tabling an updated version of the delegations, the authorisations for these specific officers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Small. I don't expect there'll be questions, but are there? If not, I'm seeking a mover for the recommendation before us. Councillor Murray, thank you. Seconded, Councillor Taylor. Thank you. Councillor Murray.
Thank you. Again, it's very procedural. It's just allowing the officers to do their job. So happy to move it.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor.
Yeah, likewise, happy to second it.
Thank you. I don't. Let's put that to the vote. I don't think there are any others. That is carried 6-0. Item 2.7, monthly finance report. Mr. Smith, please.
Thank you. Councillors, this is the the 3/4 of the year finance report, so up to the end of the third quarter, March 25. And what we're showing is that we're largely on track to achieve the year-end result, which we had hoped for a break-even position. Our operating deficit is year-to-date running very favourably. The underlying surplus year-to-date is running favourably. However, the year-end forecast is still not as favourable as the original budget. We're revising the year-end surplus down by $600,000, which is due to two causes, one being a $500,000 revenue, which has been deferred to next financial year, and also $160,000 worth of costs associated with the work we'd previously been doing on Ocean Drive footpath. We had previously recognised that to be capital expenditure, and now we're going to be transferring that into operational costs because that's not actually proceeding. And I suppose the net effect of that is that though we'll have an $8.9 million surplus for the year, we're looking at this point as a small underlying deficit, but we're rather hoping we can recover that by the end of the financial year.
Thank you, Mr. Small. It's worth pointing out these are financials for March.
Correct.
Yes, thank you. Questions from councillors? Councillor Mortlake.
Thank you, Mayor. Through it, possible, Mr. Small, for a brief update on the Ocean Drive footpath, the cultural heritage management, just how that's progressed. Thank you.
Respond to that, please. Basically, we are required to get another cultural heritage permit, which we are going to be have in the near future. Once we have received that and it's favourable, then effectively we'll start the works. But there's a shortage of people who can do this work, so it might be a while. It might be a while before we can get the permit approved and enable us to proceed.
Okay, so when you say a while, just to clarify the question, are we talking weeks or months?
Yeah, so through you, Mayor, we're talking a permit process will take between 4 to 6 months. And that I guess once the permit is received, works can begin shortly thereafter.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that for us. Thank you. Other questions? Councillor Dukas?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. On page 7 under capital variations, I notice a variation of 70,000 to do with the purchase of tractors, a couple of tractors we purchased. It seems to me that the variations are very high, and I'd just like to state that I hope that we're not quoting extremely high, and then when we come back with the actual prices, we've got X amount left over, and then that money then can be transferred to some other purchase. I'd expect, if you can't get within 10% of a price, then, leaves one open to the thought that, hang on, we just quote, well, I won't pick a figure, but let's say 30, 40% over, and then when it comes in under, you've got that X amount of money in that budget, and that automatically transfers to another item or purchase item, whereas I would have thought if you need to purchase an item, you write a report and say, we need to do X, Y, and Z to purchase. In this case, it's transferred to a roller. Well, how do we know that roller's justified? Maybe they thought, oh, well, we got a spare 70, let's buy a roller. It's just my thought on things, when times are tough and you're on the land, you sort of count every penny, but sometimes Shire's got a habit. Well, Wishart's come in above that. There's 45,000 saved in Wishart Street. Well, seriously, that's a lot of money. If you can't get within 5,000 to 10,000 of a $100,000 or $200,000 project, you're really not trying hard.
Yeah, thank you through you, Mayor. Thanks, Councillor Dukas, for the question. Look, I think it's a really important observation, and absolutely we take on board that sentiment. The way we are managing the purchase of equipment within a year is we're budgeting for an upgrade of X number of pieces of equipment through the year, and ensuring that we purchase within that total budget, and within that there'll be some ups and downs that we're managing. But I think that the challenge is an important one where we must make sure that we are budgeting and forecasting as accurately as possible. So what are we learning from each time we're further from the mark in how we forecast moving forward? But it's not, in my experience, it's not abnormal to be ensuring that you're managing within the entire package of a fleet renewal and managing some ups and downs within that. But happy to keep the council informed on that policy, how we go about that, and make sure that's a very transparent process that we're going through. So I think it's a fair observation, and one that we should always be testing along the way. So as we move into a new financial year very soon, that's something that we can provide some further information on how we go about that. And if there's further questions or opportunities to enhance what we do, then we're always open-minded to that.
Thank you, Mr. Evans.
So
Yeah,
to
Councillor
follow
Davis.
up, so a question on notice, so next workshop, in here's an application for, I think, 290,000 for a water tanker. And that's all it says. So going forward, can we have a bit of information? Is it a semi-tanker and a prime mover? Is it a truck, a rigid truck with a tank on the back? 290,000, spray a bit of water around seems like an awful lot of money, when a lot of people just go and buy a tanker and adapt it, put a pipe in the back and a few holes in the pump. A lot of people have them. So on notice, have you got the time, please?
Thank you. Thanks, Councillor Dugas. Other questions for Mr. Small in relation to the finance report? We have a recommendation that we receive and note the monthly financial report, for which I'm seeking a mover. Councillor Dugas.
So, you know, I've asked some tricky questions. I might as well put my name to something.
And seconded by Councillor Murray. Councillor Dugas.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There could be a million questions we ask you here simply because we're not, I suppose, accountants, forensic accountants of any sort. But Ed's always there to ask the questions. It's the bottom line that matters, and we've been assured all along that the bottom line will be, even though it might be small, it'll be in the black. And all I'm going to say is I will hold our officers keeping us in the black, however small.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Councillor Dugas. Councillor Murray.
Nothing further.
Any other councillors want to speak for or against this motion? Not. Councillor Dugas.
No need, Madam Mayor.
Let's vote on that. All those in favour, please. That's carried 6-0. Item 2.8, transfer of council managed land to Gore Kappa. Mr. Small, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Councillors, information report to council to formally note that we're no longer going to be in control of two portions of Crown land, which are now being transferred from Moyne Shire Council's management to Gore Kappa, the Great Parks Authority. As you will recall, 12 months ago, or actually 2 years ago, the Gore Kappa took another 12 portions of land. This is the last two pieces that they say they're aware of and that they're asking for them to be transferred to them, and that we'll need to follow that through that request.
Thank you. Questions from councillors? Councillor Dukas.
I must be on the roll.
You are.
Thank you. To Mr. Small, Gore Kappa, from my observation, aren't very good at maintaining these lands that are taken. I know that we have a deal, I believe, at the moment about management of the coastal part of Peterborough, about maintenance, etc. Is that still in play?
To the chair, councillor, it's no longer in place. It expired, and we offered to extend it, but they chose not to. So, and we have raised with them, with Gore Kappa, some concerns raised by the Peterborough Residents Association. We passed that on to Gore Kappa.
Right. So with these two parcels, one being in Peterborough and the other in Mapunga, if going forward, well, like the Mapunga, that small water reserve there, if it's inundated with weeds, etc., then the chances of them, Gore Kappa, eradicating those weeds and maintaining that part of the land would be very limited.
With the councillor, through the chair, I don't believe I can respond to that question, councillor.
Well, in my opinion, it'll be very limited because they haven't done anything to date. So although we can't do anything about this, it's disappointing to see that they've taken this land grab, but they haven't taken the maintenance and the care of that with it. So all I can say is maybe they ought to take a step back and have a think about what they're actually doing, because going forward, it's only going to be worse, not better. Unless, of course, they come to the party and clean things up and hire someone to do the work to maintain that, the cleanliness and tidiness and safety of the assets on that land.
Thank you, Councillor Lucas. We are still in time for questions, so are there any other questions? If not, we have a recommendation that we note those remaining unused government road reserves be transferred to the Great Ocean Road Coast and Parks Authority. Is somebody prepared to move that? Councillor Murray, and seconded. Councillor Taylor, just got in early, Councillor Murray.
Thank you. I mean, I don't think there's much we can do on this matter, so I'm happy to note it and move that this is what the higher than us have decided to do.
Thank you. And Councillor Taylor?
Thank you, Chair. Similarly, it's a requirement that we can do, so I'm prepared to second it.
Thank you. Other councillors, I know you've already had something to say, but another opportunity here if you like.
Just the management issues moving forward, but we'll just see how they go.
You have some concerns there. Thank you, Councillor Ross. The other councillors?
I've had my go.
You have indeed, Councillor Dukas. If not, I'll come back to you as the mover. Councillor Murray?
Nothing further.
Let's put that to the vote. Thanks. All those in favour? This carries 6-0. Item 2.9, receipt of the VAC election report for the 2024 election. Just a small one.
Thank you, Mayor. Councillors, this report is quite an interesting one. It's from the VEC. They do a report on each of the councils which they have conducted the election. And this is the one in relation to the 2024 Moyne election. And it's a very comprehensive report. If anyone has interest in reading it, you'll see what they did, how they went through the process, who the candidates were, what the voting outcomes were, and all the dates that they followed in the public notices. So it's worth a read if anybody's interested in this topic. Thank you.
It is indeed. Thank you, Mr. Small. Questions? There being none, I'm looking for a mover nomination. Thank you, Councillor Murray. You're moving up as a recommendation here. Thank you. Seconded, Councillor Lockett. Councillor Murray.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. I'm happy to move this. It is, as Mr. Small mentioned, it is an interesting read. I think what was most concerning to me was that we were down in Moyne Shire in terms of voter turnout, and I don't know whether that's because there weren't as many interesting candidates, if people had something better to do, but I do really implore our community to vote. It's so important. So this is really interesting. If you want to jump onto our website, have a read through these results, but yeah, please vote. It's such an important thing to do, and that's why all of us are here. So
thank you. Thank you, Councillor Murray. Councillor Lockett was the seconder.
Thank you, Matt. Congratulations to fellow councillors. It felt like a long time ago. It's interesting to see, but obviously it takes to come up with such a thorough report. But yeah, as Councillor Murray pointed out, it was a bit alarming to see there's less candidates, less voter turnout. So and in Australia it's compulsory voting. So maybe a reminder to people to vote in the election at the moment as well. Yeah. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor Lockett. Any other councillors who'd like to speak for or against the motion? Not, I'll return to you as the mover, Councillor Murray. Let's put that item 2.9 to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. That is carried 6-0. Item 3, 3.1, the Mayor and Councillor activities. Excuse me. I do apologise for my throat today. All of our activities are there for you to have a look at. Just one I'd like to draw councillors' attention to. I did attend the switch off for Shearwater's event on the 5th of April at Port Fairy, and just wanted to take the opportunity to remind anyone who lives along the coast to turn off their lights at night where they can, because the fledgling shear waters navigate via the moon and they're being confused by bright lights. And as I understand it, council is doing its bit to turn off some of the brighter lights in the vicinity of the breeding grounds. So it's an opportunity for us to remember to help the shear waters on their journey. Do we have any questions from council activities? Okay, that's easily dealt with. No, there are no councillor notices of motion. Do we have items for general matters to discuss? Councillor Murray.
I do, thank you, through you, Mayor. I'm just going to find my notes here. Through you, I just wanted to speak today to express my solidarity with Mayor of Milton Plains Shire, Councillor Sarah Hayden. As a fellow newly elected female councillor, I felt compelled to speak on this recent issue. Recent media treatment of Mayor Hayden, which focused on a private holiday during which she had approval to work remotely, was unfair, intrusive, and deeply gendered. She did nothing wrong, yet the coverage painted a different story, a story that would likely not have been written had she been a man. This was not a simple news story, it was an example of the double standards that still plague women in leadership. When women step into public life, we do so knowing that we'll be held to a different standard, that our actions will be questioned more harshly, our legitimacy scrutinised more often, and this is especially true for women who lead with strength and authenticity. Mayor Hayden has done nothing wrong, yet the headlines she has faced would suggest otherwise. And this is not an isolated incident. It's something that all women in leadership roles continually face: disproportionate scrutiny, gendered criticism, and unfair public commentary that too often has little to do with our work and everything to do with how we are perceived as women. This is more than just a political issue, it's a systemic one, and this kind of treatment doesn't just impact those of us who are already here, it also discourages other women from standing as candidates in the first place. It sends a message that if you step forward, your personal life will be dissected, your choices questioned, and your legitimacy continually challenged. We can't keep allowing this messaging, particularly through the media, to go unchallenged. And I urge all of us in this chamber, all our council officers and our broader community, to recognise how public narratives such as this reinforce barriers to leadership for women, and to commit ourselves to challenging and changing them. I stand in support and solidarity with Mayor Hayden and will continue to use my position and my platform to call out systemic gender bias, and I felt compelled to speak on this issue and show my support for her today. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Murray. And I would just like to echo my support for Mayor Hayden as well. I've reached out to her personally, as I know you have. Thank you. Are there other items of general business? Councillor Lockett.
Thank you, Mayor. I just also like to offer my support and say, yeah, extremely well said. It's super important to call that out. And yeah, it's horrible that that's still occurring in this day and age. I wanted to point out the Kuwait Irish Festival is this weekend. So if you've never been, go and check it out. It's phenomenal. It's an amazing event. Obviously, it's a long weekend now with Anzac Day backing onto the Irish Festival. So make a full big weekend of it. It's going to be fantastic. It always is. Also, speaking of Anzac Day, there's many Anzac Day events across the Shire. There's really good spread of events. So see one that's near where you live or attend another event across the Shire, because there's heaps of Anzac Day events, which is really good to attend. Also want to do a shout out to all the Good Friday appeals which occurred. There was all across the Shire. It'd be fantastic to know the amount of across the Shire, because there was, the same before, McCarthy on 30,000, Garbock. Every little town pretty much did an amazing effort. And it was, it's for the Royal Children's Hospital. What a fantastic event. But, again, I don't want to single some out, but yeah, congratulations to all the little communities. That's what I think makes Moyne such a wonderful place, is all the diverse little hamlets, if you like, across our Shire, and they all really, dug deep, and they've run, a few coins here, but across the 16,500 people, if everyone chucks a bit in, and I'm sure everyone did, that was a massive effort. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Councillor Lockett. Absolutely. Any other general business or general matters items? Councillor Dukes.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to publicly state my sympathy to all the Catholics in the community in passing of the Pope.
Thank you. Yes, it's a momentous occasion. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Dukes. If there are no other items for general matters, yes, Councillor, you can, Councillor Lockett.
Forgot two that are coming up in our Shire, of course, and across the country, is Mother's Day on the 11th of May. That's coming up. So big shout out to all the epic mums out there. We wouldn't be here without this. And National Sorry Day is on the 26th of May as well. That's coming up. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Great. Okay, nothing further there. We'll move to item 3.4, which is urgent business. Do we have anything today? No. Item 4, the CEO meeting schedule and activities report. Mr. Edelstein.
Thank you, and through you, Mayor, thanks for the opportunity to update on CEO activities. So the schedule's there, so happy to take any questions on that and also the activities report. So just some highlights I'd like to make mention today. Firstly, we had recently a number of meetings in Melbourne at State Parliament. So Mayor Foster, Councillor Merrihe, Ms McNamara and I were in Spring Street and fortunate to meet Minister for Local Government Nick Stakos, Minister for Energy and Resources Lily De Grazio, and also Member for Western Victoria Jacinta Emakora. So a number of the items that we spoke about and really advocated for that are important to us in Moyne were the Emergency Services and Volunteer Fund levy that was actually being debated on the day that we were there. Funding for the Gibb Street Port Fairy Bridge replacement, supporting the growth of women representation on council, financial sustainability issues for rural councils, and council's role in the decommissioning process of the Codrington Mill Farm and others to come after that. So they were just some of the key topics that we did speak about. I think we had a really good dialogue there in Spring Street and a couple of follow-ups to come out of that will be really important to us moving forward. I think at the end of the day, you know, talking and engaging proactively is really important to our advocacy. So we will continue that moving forward and look forward to extending some commitments made with our state government counterparts. The next to mention is a recent business breakfast networking event that was held on the 3rd of April. The guest was Martin Ganane, who is a retail and hospitality expert. He's not unfamiliar to the Southwest region. It was an event in conjunction with Commerce Moyne, and I'd like to thank the Noodledorf in Beroit for hosting us. It was attended by approximately 50 small business operators. Many of those went on to have one-on-one sessions with Martin. Martin stayed in Port Fairy and in Beroit, so he gave a lot of really useful advice to those operators. It was a terrific session, some wonderful feedback. I think Martin really helps explain how you can really extend the opportunities, not just for individual businesses operating, but also as a wider business community. So lots of great ideas and opportunities that he teased out in that session. There's another session with Martin that we're planning for mid-year, and that'll be here in Mortlake. So we'll really promote that strongly, and we'd love to see folks from not just in Mortlake, but elsewhere right across Moyne and beyond to join us for that event when you see that coming soon. I'd also like to mention a few committee meetings and association meetings that I've attended in recent weeks. So kind of a shout out, if you like, to the Croydon District Progress Association, the Mortlake Recreation Reserve Community Asset Committee, the Mortlake Community Development Committee, and also the Victoria Park Beroit Community Asset Committee. So it's been terrific to just join those sessions, supporting our team who are there as well as councillors, really just to try and understand firsthand as often as possible what the priorities are to those committees. And I'd really like to also take the opportunity to thank those that are on those committees. They're giving up their time. They do it on a regular basis. And I can clearly see that they have the community really at heart in what they're doing and the decisions that they're making. So we'll look forward to continuing to support their work as a council team. Next, I'd like to also recognise the Southwest Community Sports Awards that Mayor Fox recently attended. Congratulations to all the winners and finalists, and in particular the Community Sport Volunteer of the Year, which was a Moyne winner in Nicole Dwyer of the Port Fairy Football Netball Club, and also the Port Fairy Surf Lifesaving Club. One of the awards were very much around the support for the community. It was beyond just the sport itself and winning premierships and championships. It really is much more about how they support others to get involved, to participate. It's a fairly young award, but I think the meaning of it is already really strong. So we look forward to seeing that evolve in the years to come. And that was a regional award for the Southwest. So lots of really worthy winners and finalists there. Onto our roads and our progress there. So our Seals Roads Rehabilitation Program. So just a couple of updates there. Our Kirkstall works are at 95%, so just about complete there. Hopkins Fall Road at 75%, and Castle Carey Road, which I know is of interest to lots of folks out there, at 20%. So lots of work on that road. Our road reseal program has been completed for this year, and we're now completing our assessments for next year's program. Our main or key projects underway at the moment, just some estimated completion dates around that. The Skate and Play in Port Fairy is looking at the end of June, as is our East Beach upgrade. The Gardens Pavilion is looking at July as a completion date there. And we have completed our funding agreement for the Growing Regions program, which now allows us to progress onto the planning stage for the Croyd Township Renewal Stage 3. So really looking forward to sinking our teeth into that. Another important announcement is our Port Fairy airstrip has been closed until further notice. We need to take a close look at the safety compliance requirements there and bring that back to council for further consideration. We're moving into the winter, so it's a period where the airstrip is normally closed anyway. So we've got some further work there to understand our obligations for that airstrip. On to early years. Our total enrolments in March, the March period, is up to 349 children. I will note there's actually an error in the table that's been reported in the CO activities report. So the correct numbers are, we are up 25 positions or enrolments on March last year. So there is an improvement on last year, which was at this time last year, 324 is the correct number. And if you include the 23 children that are now in the Roots Garbock childcare early years facility, we've now got a 15% year-on-year growth in early year enrolment positions. So that's fantastic. That's really moving in the right direction, as we have been planning for. And in addition to that, we've added an extra day to Mortlake Kinder as well. So that's terrific for folks around Mortlake. We are also tracking, which I've mentioned before, the unplanned closure days. So Hawkesdale is a bit overrepresented there at the moment. So we are very conscious of that at the moment, and our management's working through to address that as quickly as possible. So we will continue to monitor those unplanned days, which we know are very disruptive to families as we progress forward. And lastly, just to call out a couple of key dates into the future. So through a special council meeting, we are planning for the 13th of May. We look forward to releasing our budget for public consultation through that decision. Also, we have our Mortlake Market Square Master Plan community feedback session. That's occurring at the Mortlake Library on the 8th of May from 2 till 3 p.m, I should say, and also a second session from 7 till 8 o'clock at night. And you can also engage with that through our website, Engage Moyne, up to the 1st of May. In May, that plan will be presented back to user groups and the community for feedback. So we're really looking forward to that opportunity. And last thing to mention is our festival and events organisers have an opportunity to submit 2025-26 festivals and events funding program by Monday, the 19th of May. So really encourage folks to get those submissions in. That is all. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Estine. Any questions for our very hardworking CEO?
Yes.
Yes, councillor Dukas.
Thank you. CEO first, all right. CEO, there's no page in here that tells us about the contracts that are, or tenders that are going out, about to go out or under review. That are normally in there.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. Yeah, you're right, councillor Dukas. That's an oversight, so that'll be added back in next month. Thanks for
Okay.
highlighting.
Thank you. One more. I suppose you might go to Miss Anderton. Sorry, Jackie, I should have asked earlier. The Karoy Theatre's having some work done. There's a new ramp access at the back. But it also talks about painting. So is that painting inside the building, outside? Or is there plans to paint or varnish the floor? You can take it on notice if you wish.
Yeah, I think I'll take it on notice. I know that there is painting inside, but I'm not sure about works for the floors.
Yeah,
So
I'm not either, but I was contacted by Rock and Roller, and they're very particular about their floor. And they asked me, what are you varnishing the floor for? Just buggers up me dance. Polish it or sand it or whatever they do, but I don't know much about it, but for Rock and Rollers, whatever they thought was going to happen isn't what they want or what suits them. Not that they own the building, but you take that on notice and we'll find out. Nice, yeah, well, who knows, we might all take the councillors along to a rock and roll session. Learn a few moves, do the twirling bit and over the shoulder and under the arm and all that. Oh, I don't know about under the arm, that might be dangerous.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Edelstein? Councillor Ross.
Just a note, customer service interactions for the month, 6,098. That's a massive effort for customer service. Lovely.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. Thank you, councillor Ross. Yeah, look, I think we've got a wonderful team there, and I think also, some of the tools that we're introducing, like Snap Send Solve, will help make managing the load of requests and information that gets shared with us, or we get asked to respond to, just that little bit easier. I've started to use it myself as well. I think it's a great tool, so really encourage folks to have a look at ways to communicate with us at council. There are, I think there's 5 different avenues now that you can do that. So, and some of those where you're able to input information yourself rather than passing it through second hand, third hand, is a great way to do it, because you know that the way that your request will actually come through to us in exactly the way you intend. So, but yeah, thank you for that, and we'll pass that message on. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Mr. Edelstein? Yes, Councillor Dukas.
A tricky one here. Under the wind farms, we now have a couple of columns that tell us approximate area size in hectares and on average, how many homes could it power. So that's a nice little addition. I like the term could it power. Well, I suppose it could if it was going, but it doesn't always go, does it?
Thank you, Councillor Dukas.
Throw that one in.
Yes, I have.
Help my friend.
Rhetorical question.
Yeah, no, happy to have it. Yeah, thanks, Councillor Dukas, and through you, Mayor. Look, we are continuing to enhance the report. So yeah, glad to see that that's been picked up. So and we'll continue to do that. So it's important that these activity reports don't stay static. We're always thinking about ways to enhance the information, and always happy to take requests for information into it and incorporate to make sure that the information is as relevant as possible. Yep.
Final chance for questions. If there are none, I'll call for a motion to suspend, if I can speak, standing orders to consider the confidential agenda. Thank you, Councillor Murray. Seconded. Councillor Lockett. All those in favour? Thank you. That is carried, and we will now move into confidential to consider the renewal of lease for commercial road corporate. Thank you.